What's up YouTube, Jay Traveling here, and today I've got a slightly different video for you here. As you can see, my 3060 MSI Gaming X Trio sitting on the table here because I did pick up a 3060 Ti, which is on my test bench here. I picked it up on Newegg open box, and then after I picked up all that, I saw the allegations with Gamer Nexus and everything in the open box and how Newegg was kind of screwing people over. So I decided we should probably test this GPU out before I give it to my friend for his daughter's PC. So we'll go inside the computer here. I'll show you it registered into it. Now, I did have one slight issue, and this is why I think it did get returned and it is open box. When I first connected it, I couldn't get a signal to my monitor. Now, this monitor's slightly older, and I do have issues with the HDMI ports, and there's no display port on it, where sometimes I don't get signals from a lot of them. Even my onboard graphics, every once in a while, will drop signal just because the HDMI is a little too loose, but I can't seem to tighten it up on this monitor. Now, I did have a display port to HDMI, which I couldn't get a signal with, but right now it's plugged directly in with HDMI to my capture card to the monitor, and it's picking it up fine. But when I first installed it, I did have to remote into the PC once it was booted up and install all the drivers remotely, and then the card started registering and showing onto giving a signal to the monitor. Now, I don't know if sometimes Windows does install base drivers to get a signal, but for some reason it wasn't showing any display. But that was a little workaround I did, and I did inform my friend of that before he took it in case I needed to process a return. But it seems like the GPU is working fine. But let's go inside the computer here and we'll check it out. So inside the computer here, you can see in my device manager, the 3060 Ti is registered and seems to be working. And inside Afterburner, you can also see it. And I'm running driver 511.79, which was the most up-to-date I could get on NVIDIA's website. Now, we'll run a few benchmarks. I'm not gonna run it through gaming. And then I'll show you guys it mining Flux a little bit. Now, I did tamper with this GPU a little bit, so I do know it was working. So let's close this out, and we'll run Cinebench R15. We'll run the OpenGL of it. And, I did run this once previously just to test the card. The main things I was looking for were artifacting. I do expect a little bit of screen tear on my monitor since it's 1080p. And only 60 hertz because this GPU will run a lot faster. So I'm not too concerned with that when I'm looking at it. You may not notice it through the capture card, but I'll show you guys some results here, and then we'll run Time Spy, which I have set. I'm not going to bore you with that whole benchmark, but I'll run that and then show you guys the results on that. That's when I was getting a little bit of the screen tear, not so much on this benchmark. This one, I just like to run it just as a baseline, but you'll see it's about to end here. We're looking at it's 123.64 FPS, which is not too bad with a 3060 Ti. But let's close this out. I'm not saving that, and then we'll look at Time Spies, what we will be running. Now, she's going to be gaming at 1440p, and I'm just really want to test this GPU out and benchmark it and get the results. So I'm going to run it at 1440p and see what we get. Now, I don't have any of this stuff checked because I don't have like the upgraded edition of this since I don't do a whole ton of benchmarking. But we will run Time Spy and see what we can do. All right, so the results are done, but one thing that I didn't mention that I should have in the beginning of the video is what CPU I was using. And it is an i5-9400 with 32 gigs of RAM. I believe the RAM's at 3000 megahertz, but I don't have the XMP profile set, so it's probably running at 2400 megahertz. I don't set it because this is mainly set up for mining, but we'll go and close this out. I just wanted to mention that because this will affect gaming in a way. The rig that this is going to go into has a 2700X in it, which is slightly better. So they'll get a little bit better performance, but the score that we achieved was 11,500. I mean, not too bad. considering what it is, but it looks like it's scaled to 1080p. So let's look. CPU test score, not too great, but the graphics test, I mean, we're in the 70s with pretty much maxed out settings. So pretty good in terms of benchmarking, I would say. But you know, I picked this up open box, so it was a crapshoot, but I really just wanted to test for, you know, artifacting, if there's any other issues with the GPU, but I'm not seeing issues at all. But let's go ahead and I'm going to open up. We have Afterburner. I'm going to open up Mini Z here. I'll probably just do like plus 50, plus 200, and we'll set this to like 65-ish, just a minor overclock. This is what I would say I was running at when I was tuning. Now I could push the power a little bit more and get a little bit better, but when it comes to mining, I mean, this thing just started going. This is pretty much what I was doing, around 45 to 46 souls a second at roughly 138 watts. The watt meter was reading 100 and something, but we'll see. Now it's dropping. I mean, it doesn't like much core at all, actually. I had this issue with my 1070. When I start adding core, it just like craps out on me and starts dropping. But without any, just some power tuning and a little bit of memory, you can run it pretty much at 46 to 47 souls a second. Now, compared to a 20 series card, 20 series cards are actually pretty efficient on flux, which is what this was on. So do I recommend buying this for flux? I don't know if I'd buy this just to mine flux, but for this gaming PC, this is going to be a pretty good addition. I wouldn't say I'd be scared to buy open box from Newegg or from Newegg in general. I've had some pretty good success with it. Obviously, this was my only open box, but I have talked to Newegg in the past too, and they said if something didn't work that they would take a return on it. And that was before all these allegations. Obviously, other people have different experiences with them, but so far with Newegg in general, I've had pretty good experience. They've been pretty good at communicating with me, and I'm not like a big time YouTuber. But obviously, there is sometimes that stuff falls through the cracks, and some companies do some things that some people just don't like. And I know other channels have had other instances with Newegg, but as far as this situation, it looks like everything went pretty smoothly. I ordered this, I had it within a week, and it's testing out really well. Like I said, I think the open box was because when I first hooked it up to this computer, it was not sending a signal to the monitor, and I can't go into the BIOS, but once I remoted in and installed the drivers, it's been working pretty flawless. So if you do have a card that's doing that, you may need to go down that path, put your old GPU in it so you get a signal to the monitor, set it up so you can remote access in, boot it with the new GPU, see if you can remote into it after it boots, and then install drivers and see if it works then. I have had other GPUs that have not sent signals to monitors in the past when I first installed them, so it's nothing new. But, you know, thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.